Kia ora. My name's Harriet and today we're going to look at trimming a bowl. So, I've got a bowl here that I made yesterday. It's leather hard, which means that it's soft enough to still be malleable but hard enough to be movable, and I'm going to turn it upside down and put it in the centre of my wheel. You want to make sure that the top part here of your bowl is really centred. So I'm going to turn the wheel, and you can see I've got one finger here straight out, staying very still, and if it touches evenly all around the top of the bowl, I'm calling this the top, although it's the bottom, the bowl is centred. So if it's a tiny bit off, like there, it's a little bit away from my finger, I can shift the bowl just a tiny amount towards me, and now it's centred. So the next thing I'm going to do is add lugs. You need a little bit of fresh clay. I'm going to divide it into 3 pieces, make little sausages, and you can see that I'm holding the piece down to keep it still as I squeeze those onto the wheel head, and I'm pressing down with 2 fingers and down onto the wheel. You don't want to push them in towards the pot or you'll dent your pot. And when you've done that, you can just go down and make sure that they're well attached to the wheel and they're all evenly around the bowl. Next thing I'm going to do is take my trimming tools. So I have a pear-shaped tool and a loop tool with smaller loops at either end. I'm going to start with the pear-shaped tool, and I'm holding it at an angle to take some off the bottom and some off the edge, and the clay should just peel away. This clay is a little bit on the wet side, so you can see it's sticking slightly to the bowl, and your clay will often be a little bit wet or a little bit dry, but so long as it's not so dry that it makes dust, you're alright. We don't want to be inhaling clay dust. So I'm going to make a foot in this bowl, which means I've got a bit of weight at the bottom. So I've thrown it with quite a heavy bottom so that I can use that to make the foot in the bowl. So you can see I'm taking a bit off the top, a bit off the sides. I'm going to try and shape the sides so that they echo the shape of the bowl on the inside, so a little bit more rounded down here. So you see I can just gently turn the tool to change the shape. I don't want to go down too far. So if I start to bring that tool down towards the rim of the bowl, down here, I'm going to hit these lugs and then I'll be stuck. So you really only want to be working the top third of the bowl. And when I'm happy with the outside shape of the bowl, I'm going to take my smaller tool and I'm going to focus on the foot itself. First thing I'm going to do is take this little corner of the tool, make sure that this little blade is upright, and bring the foot in so that there's a definite distinction between the foot and the main body of the bowl. And if your clay is a little dry, you'll find that you can do several rounds at a time and it comes off nice and easily. This is just a bit on the wet side. When I've done that, I've got a nice little foot. You're aiming to have this classic proportions, so this is about 1/3 the size of the whole width of the bowl. And the next thing I'm going to do is make the inside of the foot. So you always make the outside first. And I'm going to decide what width I want my foot. I want it about the same width very slightly wider as the walls of the bowl. And I'm going to make a little ring with that corner of the tool to mark out where that whip is. Going back to the same position, and I'm taking off a little bit more. So I've got a definitely defined wall where this is the wall of the pot and this is the inside of the foot. Next I'm going to go to the centre, and this corner of the tool is going to be in the centre. I'm going to take some clay from the centre and then gradually move out towards that wall I made. As I go, you can see I'm creating a very gentle curve, and the idea is to echo the curve on the inside of the bowl on the bottom of your foot. So I'm going to do that again. Take a little bit out the middle, move towards the edge, bring in a little bit of a curve. So I'm nearly done. I'm now going to turn the tool this way up and take a little bit more off that inside of that wall just to tidy it up. So you can see that makes a much cleaner inside of the wall. I'm going to do that once more. It makes it a little bit thinner, closer to the width of the walls of the bowl. And I'm just going to tidy up this edge here to make that curve a smooth curve. And then I'm going to compress the foot so that all these little raggedy bits aren't there anymore, and I've got a nice smooth surface to put on a kitchen table or something without scratching the table. So I've got these fingers making a pinch, very gently, I'm not actually really squeezing, and this finger laid on top again quite gently, just firm enough to smooth off those ridges. And I'm going to do the same on the bottom of the bowl. I'm just going to compress it very lightly with my finger to smooth off any ridges. And that's a foot in your bowl.